Good afternoon. It is Friday again and we are here with the runes and the tarot. So just closing your eyes for a moment, just take a minute to just think, just to breathe, just be present in this moment. Whilst you're watching this video, there is nothing else that you need to do right now. You chose to take time to watch this video, so therefore you're making time for yourself. So, what is on your mind right now? Or what are you unsure about at this time? Okay, we have the rune Ansuz. Ansuz is a rune of communication. And communication is a big thing for all beings, I feel. It's how we express our needs. It's just, communication. It's sometimes the factor in all issues where communication isn't balanced. People aren't really listening to each other, aren't expressing their needs, aren't talking about things. Quite a common one, this has come up for me recently, is where we kind of assume what another person may think or feel, and we sort of talk as though we're talking for that person. So answers can sometimes be there as the breath of the gods, it's called. So this is Odin's rune. So it can be taking a deep breath, and before you actually open your mouth to speak, you just observe a little bit. Take that observation in. Okay, so where am I going with this? What is it that I want to say? Am I talking from myself, or am I trying to talk for another person? Now, Odin is said to have two ravens, Munin and Hugin, and they represent memory and mind. And that's something that we can perhaps think about before we speak, before we try to communicate. It's sort of like, what is on your mind? Is there a pattern with how you talk and what you say? Like sometimes you catch yourself saying phrases and things that you don't really know what you're saying. You don't really think about what you're saying to another person. Almost like, like, oh, are you okay? That kind of thing. How are you? Is everything all right? There are different ways that we can communicate and say things, and sometimes on a more conscious level we can communicate. So I'm going to just bring a card into that as well. So think today about, how have you been communicating? Woo, everything flew out then. Okay, I'm going to keep, there's two that fell out, so I'll just go with the first one because that one kind of makes sense really. The first card, if I can pick it up, is the Fool. So thinking about, do you communicate in the way of, when you meet somebody and you're sort of like, oh, how are you? Good, thanks. Oh, isn't the weather nice? Or isn't it cold? How many times today have you said, oh, it's cold today, isn't it? And we get into this little small talk kind of situation with people where it's not really what we want to talk about, is it? It's not really what we want to say. And very often you can find people sort of saying things and you're sort of like, what did they say that for? And they didn't probably mean to say it, it's just something to say. So this rune can represent, it's sort of like knowing when to communicate, how to communicate, because communication isn't always verbal. Communication can be through body language as well. And represented with the Fool, it can be sort of observing yourself as kind of like, are you conscious of what you're saying to other people? Are you just saying whatever you feel like without any regard for how that might affect the person that you're talking to? Is your body language representing how you actually really feel? Or are you speaking one way and your arms are folded in another way? So it's kind of like, think about your words matching your actions on this one. And just bringing yourself into a space of, are you speaking from a place of bringing other people's energy down, or are you speaking of a place of bringing other people and yourself, your energy up? So the Fool can be both ways. It can sort of like be not really much regard for how you're affecting other people, or it can be moving through a sort of like not allowing other people's words or emotions or anything to affect how you feel through the day. So I hope that makes sense to you. My communication has been clear on this one. And if you would like to work more with this rune and even with this card as well, then please do get in touch, and we can work a little bit deeper on that one for you. Just to say, the other card that came out as well was the Nine of Cups. So this can be, maybe you're watching this video because you have been thinking about these things with yourself. You're thinking about how you go through your life. Are you conscious? Are you talking in a way that actually expresses how you really feel? Are you talking to people in the way that you really want to talk to them? Or are you holding anything back? And the Nine of Cups can be, it's the completion. It's, you are bringing in all of that hard work that you've done. You're actually honouring yourself and speaking from a place from your heart. Instead of putting yourself down, perhaps you're more in a place of speaking highly of yourself. So if that is you today, then well done you. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will speak to you soon. Blessed be.